Well, that's it, boys and girls. No more profanity in my videos. Okay, so basically, another YouTuber was just talking about this. Come January 1st, you are no longer allowed to curse in any one of your videos. Now, some of you may say, well, it is filthy, it is indecent to speak like that, especially if you're really religious. You might say, well, God doesn't like blasphemy, and, you're not supposed to use profane words. But for me, it's a way of life, and I'm not saying that it's right. But growing up in New York City, we all uttered the occasional, well, more than occasional F word or F bomb, the S word. It's just a way of talking for us. It's the way we communicate, especially in Italian American families. And so some YouTuber was just saying that come January 1st, you are not allowed to even utter the occasional F-bomb or this and that, or your channel or video will be taken down, and you will be striked. And so I Googled it. I'm trying to find out because YouTube never notified me of this. And so I just found out that this was just over the broadcast, over the news on the FCC, or yeah, you know what I can, already profanities coming to my head about what FCC stands for, but the Federal Communications Commission, broadcast of obscenity, indecency, and profanity. So now I think I know why YouTube is doing what it's doing. Okay, so here we go. This is just 3 days ago. It is a violation of federal law to air obscene programming. Now, I'm not going naked from my channel, so I don't have to worry about that. So basically, it is also a violation of federal law to broadcast indecent, profane programming during certain hours. Under 18 U.S.C. Section 1464, whoever utters any obscene, indecent, or profane language by means of radio communications, well, I guess YouTube is also considered radio communications, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned. You will go to jail. No way. All right, I want to say a few things right now. You will be imprisoned not more than 2 years or both. Are you kidding me? I can go to jail for, I don't know, I'm doing a video, I stub my toe, and I exclaim, oh, S. Now I'm afraid to even curse. I can go to jail or be fined for that? Are you kidding me? Okay, so basically, by imprisonment for not more than 2 years or by a fine in accordance with this title or both, likewise under blah, 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 whoever transmits over any cable system any matter which is obscene or otherwise unprotected by the Constitution of the... Isn't curse words protected by the Constitution or a First Amendment right? Shall be fined under Title 18 or imprisoned not more than 2 years or both. It says, blah, 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 of the Commission's rules applicable to broadcast stations, bans the broadcast of obscene material, and prohibits radio and television broadcasts of indecent material between the hours of 6 a.m. and 10 p.m. Oh, wait, we found the loophole. So, since I'm an insomniac and I never sleep, so if I make a video after 10 p.m. and upload it, will I be actually immune from this? I don't know. Let's continue. The FCC defines indecent speech as material that, in context, depicts, describes sexual or excretory organs or activities well, I don't talk dirty. You know what I mean? I talk dirty by uttering an F-bomb or an S word or the C word or whatever word. But I'm not talking about sexual things. It's just, if you say the F word, it's considered a sexual thing, but I'm not meaning that, if you know what I mean. All right, it says, thus indecency findings require two fundamental determinations. First, the material alleged to be indecent must fall, I'm going blind, must fall within the subject matter scope of our indecency definition. That is, the material must describe or depict sexual or excretory organs or activities. Second, the broadcast must be patently offensive. Now, how can you define offensive? What's offensive to one person may not be offensive to another, and vice versa. For example, my husband was offended today. He went to the supermarket and he parked his car, and he was in a parking spot and he was sitting in his car, And some dude, and it's a really windy day, the winds were like howling at like 40, 50 miles an hour. Some lazy ass dude, oh my God, I said the A word. Now I'm going to get sanctioned. Great. Some lazy jerk. I guess jerk is not a curse. I don't know. If you put the word off after it, maybe it is. And so basically my husband's sitting there minding his own business, texting someone. And some jerk decides to put a shopping cart he comes out of the supermarket and, loads up his car. Instead of taking the shopping cart back to the trolley, he decides to put in an empty parking spot right next to my husband, which was a handicap spot. So my husband, of course, was offended by that. And he told the guy, well, I can't tell you what he told the guy because I might get thrown behind bars. And so basically, you can imagine what he said in colorful language, that the guy was I can't even say it, was an inconsiderate human being. And the guy said, well, I didn't know you were in the car. And my husband said, well, why does it matter if I'm inside the car if, you're too lazy to bring your cart back to the cart thing, and that cart could have been blown by the wind and damaged somebody's car. And yes, my husband became like the cart narc guy. Actually, you can look up the channel. It's called Cart Narcs. It's a guy that goes through parking lots, catching people on video who don't put their carts back. And it's quite funny. Go ahead and subscribe over to that channel. But basically, my husband was the cart narc. And so he found it offensive that somebody didn't put their cart back, and it could have actually made it to a handicapped person couldn't take that parking spot. So basically, it's subjective. What is offensive to you may not be offensive to me, and vice versa. So let's go and further read this crap. Okay, so blah, 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 measured by contemporary community standards for the broadcast medium. Oh boy, this is a long one. In assessing whether broadcast material is patently offensive. And what the hell do they mean by patently offensive? I don't know. The full context in which the material appeared is important. 3 principal factors are significant to this contextual analysis. The explicitness or graphic nature of the description or depiction. Okay, well, I'm not doing any sexual gestures or going naked or topless on my videos. I'm fine with that. Number 2, whether the material dwells on or repeats at length descriptions or depictions of sexual or excretory organs or activities. Okay, I'm fine about that. I'm not doing that. But what if I say the F word? Okay, we're at 3 now. Whether the material panders to, titillates. You said FCC. You said a curse. Or shocks the audience. Some people may find it shocking when I drop an F-bomb or an S-bomb or a C-bomb or whatever bomb. And yes, they may find it titillating or shocking. Oh my God. And some may just be like, oh, big deal. I say that word every day. I say it multiple times. So basically, in examining these factors, the FCC must weigh and balance them to determine whether they can fine you or throw you behind bars, basically. So to determine whether it's patently offensive, because each indecency case presents its own particular mix of factors. At the same time, however, basically, it's the pearl clutching nanny state telling you what you can and cannot say. So it says, the commission is careful of First Amendment protections and the prohibitions on censorship and interference with broadcasters' freedom of speech. Accordingly, the FCC proceeds cautiously and with appropriate restraint when determining whether broadcast material is indecent or not. The FCC has denied complaints in cases in which we determined the broadcast was not indecent based on the overall context of programming. And what does this mean, boys and girls? I have absolutely no idea. But, Congress. Good old Congress. They have nothing better to do but to chase after people that say the F-bomb. Congress has given the FCC the responsibility for administratively enforcing the law that governs these types of broadcasts. The FCC has authority to issue civil monetary penalties, revoke a license, or deny renewal application. The FCC vigorously enforces this law where we find violations. In addition, the United States Department of Justice has the authority to pursue criminal violations violators of the law. Oh my God! You basically, if convicted in a federal court, are subject to criminal fines or imprisonment for not more than 2 years. So, am I going to start cursing on my channel anymore? The answer is no. And so, for some of you who like my foul language, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to start talking in pig Latin. So for now on, when I have to say the F word, because I can't help myself, because I have a filthy potty mouth, I'm going to say ukfe, okay? Is that considered a curse? Well, I don't even know. Well, I'm saying ukfe. It's not the F word, right? It's ukfe. And when I have to say the S word, I'm going to say itche. Okay, so when you hear me say these words on my channel, like, oh, itche, you know what I mean. And when I say, oh, ukfe, you know what I mean. And when I say, oh, untke, you know what I mean. And do you know what I mean? Well, Pig Latin was taught to me in the 80s by one of my classmates. And so we will be starting to talk in Pig Latin. And I think this is absolutely ridiculous. And now I know why YouTube is creating these guidelines, because they don't want to be bothered with the Congress and the FCC and all this other bullshit bay. Okay, that's it. I'll talk to you guys soon. Well, hopefully, if they don't freaking throw me in jail. Oh, is friggin' a curse? Iggenfrey. Yeah, if they don't Iggenfrey, throw me in jail.